Hey guys, sup, Ryu here for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Council with a Traptrix duel video, and I actually got a mirror match in, which was pretty interesting to me to say the least, and especially how long this grind game was. And my opponent using, I believe, pure Traptrix, while I'm using the hand Traptrix, which you'll see later in the video. So I'm going to start with the Murillo, get the bottomless, set the breakthrough, and look at that opening hand, so nice. I probably could start with card D, but I didn't really want to. He goes for the, hold on, let me break this down. He goes for Traptrix. Now, Traptrix usually is unaffected by normal trap cards. So I flip up bottomless, probably the instant thing you're thinking is, Ryu, why are you so bad? I flip up breakthrough skill so I can get it off the field, so that way I don't have to worry about it. And that way, her effect is negated, and it will now be removed from the field, so it's not even a threat no more. Now, the only thing I didn't like about his deck was it was 40 cards, and a lot of stuff could be cut out because you really don't need it. I'm just going to punch with 1600 before I do anything, before I go into that card D. I just don't really want to overextend at this point, because I see the Traptrix. I don't even think about the monster, you know, like the count of the deck. I'm just thinking that, well, that's pretty threatening. So I'm going to attack straight into it, not realizing it's a giant rat, and he's going to go for this here. Now this is the Neff. Basically, this card's unaffected by Traptrix, and when it's special, you can... Okay. If you activate a whole normal trap card except during the damage step, you can add to your hand or special one Traptrix monster from your deck. So pretty much is the spam card that allows you to get Murillo faster. I really don't care for it, but in pure I can understand why. So he's going to summon Murillo. I'm just going to break through Skillet. I don't even want to see that on my board. I'm like, no, you don't get that. Because I don't want him searching, you know. And he just goes and attacks into Murillo. I'm like, okay. I guess that's an okay thing to do. So now I just summon my Diona. Gonna get that Murillo back. I'm going to pop out that back row because I don't know what that is. I don't really care. Now here... I'm just going to break this down. The reason I didn't use the effect is because it's Traptrix. And they run Traptrix Nightmare Hole, so I didn't want to chance it. But he goes for a Magic Cylinder, and I'm like, okay, this is not really all that normal. You know, this is normal, but this is, like, questionable. So he sets a Mirror Force in a Dark Hole. I'm like, okay, it could still be that Traptrix Nightmare Hole. So I'm going to MST. I MST this one because I figured, well, if he's running 45 cards, he's not going to set the Mirror Force here if it's a Mirror Force. So I just attack in. Because, again, this could be Traptrix Nightmare Hole. You know, I didn't want to chance it. And he sets the bottomless. He sets the Neff and my go. I get Blackhorn. I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to use the effect. And I flip it up. And he takes massive. And I'm like, okay, that paid off nicely. Now, I still have Ice Hand. I'm not swinging with Ice Hand. Because I don't want to overextend. Because pretty much Traptrix is one hell of a grind game. So he's going to go in for his Diona to Murillo. Pop. Go for 101, activate effect. I'm perfectly fine with this whole thing happening. 101, tax Ice Hand. I'm going to pop that backward right there again. Summon the Fire Hand, because he hasn't used this yet. So I'm pretty much figuring if it's Traptrix Nightmare Hole, it's going to be it. So, here's where things get a little sacky. I'm going to summon card D. Well, not fully sacky, but I just summon card D, and then I say screw it, because if he activates 101's effect out of the Traptrix Nightmare Hole, he goes for a card D. He's like, you know what, I'm good. I don't need to worry about that. I just wanted an advantage here. So I draw a Blackhorn, and I'm like, okay, you know what? Throw in attack mode, activate breakthrough, ram it, my monster dies, but now I can pop the 101, not have to worry about it being destroyed, get Ice Hand back on board, and just laugh for about an hour because I think that's hilarious. I take a little bit of damage, but I get a lot of advantage. So he's going to flip up Dark Hole, and I'm like, okay, I don't get the special. He summons the Cyber Valley, sets the Mirror Force. And it's pretty much a grind game. Here I'm just going to Dark Hole it because I don't want him drawing. It's all about the advantage number right now, not to sound that way. Like, I'm feeling pretty confident with this here. So, he's actually going to just set a rat and set a Traptrix Nightmare Hole. And here, I draw Fire Hand. I'm like, okay, now's a good time to play this. Just put a Fire, Ice, and Diona back in the deck. And draw 2. Play Duality, because I'm not going to be, like, Battle Phase or, you know, anything of that nature. So, I'm going to go for a Search. This size of my hand, the consistency is nuts. And look at look at this back row. I can't even use half of it because it's Traptrix. You know, that's the one thing that sucks. It's a mirror match. So he draws into a memory of an adversary, which is a nice little tech card, I'm not going to lie. So I summon a Murillo, get another search, go into Heartland Draco, and he used Traptrix Nightmare Hole. I'm like, okay, that's quite alright. I'm just going to end phase because I'm like, okay, if I get Diona, or I could just pot it, pot for the next one. I was like, maybe I should compulse that. I'm like, no, I'm gonna compulse the face down, make it stay in his hand, not let him have it. So I top decked Iona. I'm like, all right, let's go into Murillo, pop that back row. You can see this game is a grind game going on right now. So I go for Degasso Emerald because it's still a grind game. It's all about the numbers. I just want to get stuff back in my extra deck so I can use it for a little later. And I get a warning. So I'm like, alright, punch at 18, say go. At this point, I have like every negation possible for anything he could pretty much throw at me. So he's going to go for that Cyber Valley. I'm going to warning it. I don't want him getting it off. I'm not really concerned about my life points. There's not too much really to worry about right now. So I go for another Degasso Emerald, shuffle. Just to put some stuff back, There's still a Murillo in the graveyard. I get a duality. I'm going to use that duality now. And I believe I grabbed the Diona. I was right. Okay, grabbed the Diona. Swing with the Degasso Emerald. He plays the memory of the adversary, which means he still takes the damage, but in like 2 turns he gets my Degasso Emerald, and I'm like laughing at that because it's kind of silly. He MST summons Murillo, gets that trap hole, and says go. And I'm like, okay. I draw MST. I'm like, you know what? I can hit the trap hole, but I'm not really concerned about it. Let me get that nightmare hole. Flip up the fire hand. Now, I get why he didn't, trap hole it. He could trap hold this, but the special would still, happen, so he wants to take the chance. And I burn him for 800. I wasn't even going to attack. I just wanted to try to bait out that here. So at this point, I'm like, alright, I pretty much have the game, set in the bag. He goes for Utopia. I finally am able to flip up Blackhorn. He swings, batter swing. Firehand's going to blow that Degasso Emerald up, and that's game. Now, there really wasn't anything he can do to get over Cowboy, so it was really smart that I went to Cowboy, and I still had the pot for an extra long game. But if you guys are new to the channel, then hit that subscribe button. If you like the video, then make sure to hit that like button, and that's a lot of buttons to hit, I know. I'm sorry. And if you want to see more, just let me know down in the comments below. I have the deck profile coming out or already out. Just ask me, I'll be able to let you know. And one last thing, if you have a deck request, leave it in the comments below and we eventually will get to it. And as always, thanks for watching. Peace. Till next time. Peace.